Today, here are the 5 newbie mistakes that you're making when taking photos of your Airbnb property, and if you're hiring a professional, they might make 1 or 2 of these as well. So watch this video, learn what you should not be doing when taking photos of your Airbnb property. That way you can make way more money, because 6 out of 10 guests that travel on Airbnb, they only look at the photo reel. So if you're not taking great photos, you're actually losing money because guests are not booking your place because somebody else has better photos than you. It's just that simple. Last video I published, I gave you a photo reel hack. You should watch that too, but in this video, because you asked for it, I'm gonna tell you how to take your Airbnb photos. Let's jump right in. Welcome back, Airbnb family. So in this video, obviously we're talking about the 5 tips that you need to know to take your own Airbnb listing photos. So like this video, por favor, thank you so much, and share it with your Airbnb host friends so they can take better photos too. Now, these tips start with some basics, but you know, there's some things that even professionals sometimes skip or get wrong. And the last one, I've seen professionals make this mistake. So let's just, number 1, this is very much Airbnb specific. It's the vertical photo. I've actually seen a lot of hosts do this where, especially with the bathroom, because bathrooms are small, they'll take a vertical photo. Problem is that Airbnb has an algorithm. An algorithm is they choose who lives and who dies, like who gets to have high ranking on their platform. And if you have vertical photos, you're discounted on Airbnb. You're no longer as attractive to Airbnb because their shopper experience or their user experience, they want horizontal photos. So if you're taking vertical phone photos, you're actually losing out. So here's a tip for you guys. Even Android phones have this. So go to Pano, if you can see that. And when you take a photo, when you want to shoot a photo of the bathroom, instead start over here and just Pano the bathroom like that. Wow. So basically now I just took a Pano photo without even looking at the screen. How cool is that? So what you're doing is you're going from from mirror through the toilet, through the shower to the other wall. And I just created a horizontal photo while my phone was vertical. How cool is that? So that's how you take a Pano photo, and that'll prevent you from taking unnecessarily vertical photos and thus ruining your performance with Airbnb's ranking system due to vertical photos. Got it? Number 2, even if you're taking your photos horizontally, a lot of people with phones or camera phones or even the phone you're using right now, they do something called the tilt. So they'll take a photo like that. And so now when you list the photo on Airbnb in true horizontal, look at that. That's at an angle, right? This was the true angle the phone was at before I took it, but now this is where it is. So this is just jarring to user experience. You want to make uniformity with all of your photos. They should always be completely level, right? And this is actually going to lead to tip number 3. Congruence is going to be super important because you want your experience when people flip through the photos to be as pleasant as possible. And if you have some photos that are at a weird tilty angle, just because you're trying to get extra furniture in the shot and stuff like that, it's gonna kind of create more of a jarring experience. So make sure that they're all completely level. Professional photographers, we don't screw that up, but they screw some other stuff up. Number 3, the mistake that a lot of you are making, and even intermediate photographers are making because you don't understand the compositional aspects of real estate photography, is you're taking pictures of stuff. No. Just no, guys. So you want to compose a photo. So let me just show you some photos of well-composed rooms as we're talking here. You're not taking a photo of something in the room. You're taking a photo of the room, right? That is really the key here, is you want to compose the whole photo. You're going to use the whole screen to show a couch and a wall and the TV and the curtains and all the goodies, right? You're not taking a photo of the couch. Right? You're not taking a photo of the armchair where it's in the center of the photo because you're trying to draw attention to that thing. Let the camera do its work and create a good composed, even photo. And that will help with this whole not jarring the person, because compositionally speaking, looking at a whole room and then letting the eye wander throughout the photo and take the whole photo in is much better than be hey, here's a couch. Now here's the armchair. It's kind of a really weird thing. But even Catherine, my first manager that I ever hired, it took a little while to get out of this mindset of being hey, let me take a photo of these things. Now you can take photos of stuff, but you still want to compose that. So you'll see I did a past video on coffee station Well, you're taking a photo of your coffee station, but you're like setting up your coffee and your decaf and everything. You've got your coffee machine maker and the counter and stuff. You still try to compose it so like the lines are good and square in the photo, and you just have this good full photo that's just focused on your coffee station. Or if you take a photo of your kitchen with the pots and pans on the stove, which is a tip that I had for you guys in a previous photography video, you want to actually like stage your kitchen. You still want to take like a dead on like level photo with the stove in it so the pots and pans are there and the counter line is nice and smooth. You still want to compose that even though you're trying to take a photo per se of the stovetop. That is the primary focus of the photo, but you want to make sure you don't forget about the composition of the photo just because your point is to take a photo of something. So taking pictures of stuff actually creates bad photos. Now, number 4 is lighting. Uneven or underlit rooms. Now, iPhones are cool because they've got a really cool software that helps like boost up the amount of light that it gets in its very small lens. So if your room's a little underlit, even your iPhone can do a good job. And cameras like the one I'm shooting on, it can just sit on the tripod and take in light a little extra long. So even like in a really dark room, or my camera, I can take a picture of the night sky and get stars, for example. So cameras can like manually suck in a lot of light. You know, that's something that professional photography cameras can do. But the problem is uneven lighting, because what'll happen is if you got a lot of window light where the sun's just beaming in and you don't really have any good interior light, then it's kind of hard to get that right shot where you can actually take a photo of the inside of the home really well depicted without having this window just blast in so much white light that it creates this haze across the photo and looks really bad. So a lot of professionals do something called bracketing, or it's where they take 3 or 5 different photos where the photo takes like a little bit of light in, and then it does another one where it takes some light in, and then it takes another photo where it takes a lot of light in, and then they mash those photos up into what's called a high dynamic range photo. I teach this in my course and how to use Photoshop to get it done. You can even do it with your iPhone. Maybe one day I'll show you my iPhone hack for that, but you're gonna have to put it in the comments and ask, because not everything's free, guys, unless you ask for it. So high dynamic range photos are really good for making sure that your uneven lighting is handled, but I've got these 2 light boxes over here that's casting light on me right now, and you can actually kind of tell based on the shadow of my hand, right, that I've got light sources. Artificial light is your friend when you take photos. Even if you're using an iPhone, just cast a bunch of light from behind you, just have a light box over each shoulder pointing to different sides of the room, and then take a photo after flooding all the light. Even lighting is so important. That way, your camera doesn't have to do so much work. Right? What you want to do is you want to be able to pick a good level of exposure and then take in all the light and just have everything look good. And uneven lighting or harsh lighting is your worst enemy when taking professional looking photos. Number 5 is undershooting. Now, a lot of professionals get this wrong too because they're in a hurry and they hate their job apparently or something like that. But there's no such thing as overshooting. You can never get too many shots unless you run out of film. But since we're using electronic like devices most times, you have so much room for all of the photos and you should overshoot or get as much coverage as possible. Now, I'm in Philadelphia right now, so let me shout out to my boy Hui, who's a professional photographer, does real estate, tagging his Instagram somewhere. Find it in the description, highlight reel, whammo, Hui, there you go. But he does, or he has done some of my apartments here in Philadelphia and done the shots for them. Now, what he'll do is he'll take a shot and then he'll move over to like a corner. So he'll do like a corner, he'll do the center of the room, he'll do another corner, and he basically tries to take a shot in order to kind of encompass a full 360 degree of the room, because you never know what's going to look the best once you get out of the editing room. So he does his best to try to get these establishing wide shots that gets the whole room, but he tries to get the whole room from like every prominent angle. And then he'll try to work into the details and take detail shots. So like if you're, ottoman, coffee table, whatever, it has like a really cool view right from the couch towards the TV and there's some really good artwork, he might take a perspective shot across the ottoman or across the coffee table. And that's like a detailed shot he'd pick up. Or maybe he wants to get an artistic shot where he's like, there's a mirror on the wall. So he takes a shot where stuff is reflecting off the mirror. Like he'll do all that good stuff too. So those creative shots will come in after you do all of your establishing shots, but shoot a lot of these really wide establishing shots from every perceivable angle. Another tip is shoot it at about waist height. We're talking, 3 feet off the ground, 3.5 feet off the ground, and tilt it very slightly up or even across the floor. But I like imagining, like my favorite is like maybe 5 to 10 degrees up. If you're taking your photo, like you're gonna tip it up. Now the reason why is it's like, imagine like you're looking around a room when you're like 7 years old and you're short. Everything just looks so much bigger, right? So by shooting at 3 feet high and tilting towards the ceiling just a little bit, you're creating a much perceivably larger space. A lot of people, this is I guess tip number 6, is a lot of people shoot down, right? They shoot at chest length and they shoot down a little bit because they want to make sure that they're getting the furniture in the shot, right? Well, when you're 6 foot tall or 7 feet tall, some of you, like when you're shooting from 6 feet up and all the furniture is 2.5 feet off the ground, naturally your phone's gonna be at a downward angle to try to get all the like stuff, right? That's the problem here. And now the room looks small because if you're looking down at everything, you're bigger than the room. It's perspective. So get this phone down at your belt buckle, tip it up a little bit and shoot up into the room. And because of the way your lens works, your lens is catching light at all this different angles. So from belt buckle level or lower, you're still getting all of your furniture while getting a little bit of floor, and you're also getting some ceiling in the shot too. So tip number 6, choose the right angle. And that helps with that composition that we talked about earlier in tips 2 and 3. So with that said, get a lot of shots because you don't know which ones are going to be your favorite. Get those establishing ones, get the artistic shots, the little things, and then another, hey, here's tip number 7, surprise tip number 7. You want to take photos of everything because if you don't show it, they won't know it. You can talk about things in the description, but like we talked about, 6 out of every 10 guests, they just flip through the photo reel. So if you have a hot tub, you're going to need to take a photo of the hot tub. If you got a killer coffee station, you want a photo of the coffee station. If you've Disney Plus on your thing, or you just like rented Mortal Kombat because it came out today and you want everybody to know they can watch Mortal Kombat, take a photo of it, of the loading screen for Mortal Kombat and put it on your photo reel. There's nothing wrong with that. Take a photo of everything that is cool about your place and put it in your photo reel. Now you need at least 8 photos minimum in order to like qualify for Airbnb's like regular photo SEO boost. But after that, you don't really get a big, you don't get any like kudos for having 50 photos instead of 30, right? So, but you know, basically you want to have at least 8 photos. So even if you have a little studio, go out into the city and find cool stuff that's nearby your studio if you don't have enough photos, for example. But if they don't know it, it's because you didn't show it, which means they may not know that you're next to the Rocky Steps here in Philadelphia unless you post a photo of the Rocky Steps, right? So that should be everything for you guys. Please leave that like button and share it with your host friends. I know this one was a fun one, but it will help you make more money. Photos are the most important part of your listing, even more so than reviews. Can you believe it? So thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the other side.